Our speaker and meditator today is our own Amy Thurman. Just beyond the circle. What if what you've been searching for is closer than you think? Amy Thurman is an authenticity expert, best-selling author, and an international speaker on mission to help people forget who they were taught to be so they can remember who they were meant to be. After an accident left her living for 10 years with a broken neck and initially went undiagnosed for 6 months, Amy was forced to rebuild her life she no longer recognized, and in the process discovered the importance of the relationship we have with ourselves. So give me a round of applause for Amy Thurman.
Good morning, Morning Star, my people, my home. I love you guys so much. Just so honored to be here with you, to share my heart with you today. I am just so grateful to be here. Most of you know my story, but many of you don't. So I'm going to share just a little bit. You've got to know the backstory before we get to the meat of the message today. So yes, I lived 10 years with a broken neck that went undiagnosed for 6 months. I laid flat in bed for 23 hours a day for almost a year. I had to relearn to walk. I had to relearn to read. I had to relearn to do everything. And it was such a miserable existence that I almost ended my life. But instead, I chose to fight to live so that I could use my story to help others. I wrote a book about it. That book became a bestseller in 2 days, took on a life of its own, and thrust me into the spotlight in a way that I was not prepared for. So I had all of this attention coming at me that I was not expecting. And Midge said to me last week, I forget that you have done all these things, that you have accomplished all these things. Like, I just know you as you. And I'm like, that's what I want. I want you to know me as me, not as what I've accomplished. So I get messages a lot, as you can imagine, when you get out and you're thrust into the spotlight like that. People, and I share so authentically my life, people think they know me. So they send me messages all the time, and one of the most common messages I get is, teach me how to be like you. Show me how to do what you've done. And I'm like, well, that is a compliment. At the same time, I'm like, ooh, you have not lived with a broken neck. Like, you have not had my journey. Like, my path is not your path. So I always say, I can't teach you to be like me because your path is not my path. But what I can teach you to do is something I discovered along the journey to help you, to show you what I did and how you can apply it to your life. So I want to talk a little bit about that today and share a little bit about that journey with you. Being completely incapacitated for nearly a year. Literally, I could not take myself to the restroom. I was working for OU one day, and the next day I couldn't even take myself to the restroom. So you can imagine, I lost that year with my children. I lost my job. I lost my sense of self-worth, and I almost lost myself. And one of the things, it was a traumatic experience, yes. But one of the things that it gave me was everything physical was stripped away from me. I no longer had any physical capacity at all. I literally couldn't see or hear correctly. Everything was gone. And it's an emotional thing for me. I appreciate your understanding if I get emotional, because it is an emotional thing to think back to. So every physical capacity I had was stripped away completely. And in that moment, it was a horrific experience. That's why I almost ended my life. But it also became a gift that I wasn't expecting. Because what happens when you're stripped of everything physical, one of two things happens. You either see that as you become a victim and you almost end your life like I did, or you say, you know what, I don't have physical capacity anymore, but there's a whole other realm. There's a whole different realm that I have never explored, that I didn't even know how to reach. I grew up as a Southern Baptist kid. We were very legalistic. I was taught what to think. I was taught not to ask questions. I was taught what to believe. And I was taught that God, source, whatever, was way out there. He was untouchable. I would look up to the clouds and think, he's beyond the clouds. I'm praying. And in some religions, you can't even pray yourself. You have to pray to someone else. But I kept thinking, it's way out there. It's way out there. But this experience of being stripped away from everything physical allowed me to tap into the spirit realm in a way that I could not have tapped into before. We get so tied up in our physical being and this physical experience, we forget that the spirit realm exists and that it is there to help us. So if you go ahead and put that slide up, Remy, sorry, I lost track here. This is just a slide of my challenges. You know, it's my neck. I have two plates, 16 screws holding my neck together. You know, it's a fun time. So in sharing this journey, you know, helping clients, they want to know, you know, teach me how to do this, teach me how to do this. It's been really difficult for me to explain. The physical is gone now, we tap into the spiritual. And I really have struggled to put that into words and to teach my clients that until now. And I'm like so excited. I was like, oh my gosh, I know how to say it now. I have a way to share this. I began reading a book by Sean Collyns. I think, is that the next slide? Reading a book by Sean Collyns called The Soul is the Source of Your Power. And in this, he gave me words. It's like he took my experience, like he was watching everything that I went through, wrapped it up nicely and neatly, put a big bow on it, and handed it to me and said, this is how you explain it. And I was like, oh my gosh, yes! So this book, if you have not read it, I highly recommend it. But I'm going to pick out one of the things that he talked about in this book to share with you today, because it was so impactful for me. And one of the things that he talks about in this book, we are familiar with Leonardo da Vinci. I always want to say DiCaprio. Leonardo da Vinci, right? And the Vitruvian man. Okay, if mamas, daddies aren't ready to do the male anatomy, we got a little diaper on there, so cover that up there, so we don't have to have that conversation in case the kids peek in. So this is the Vitruvian man just trying to be thoughtful, family friendly, right? Leonardo da Vinci, he took Vitruvian's math, like he took Vitruvian's work, and he put it into an image. And what this image shows, there is a point here, stick with me. What this image shows is that the human body, he was trying to prove that the human body can fit inside both a square and a circle, and the outstretched arms are the same width as the height. And this is the ideal human, and I'm like, where's the ideal human? You know, but this is what he depicted, the ideal human here. So we're fitting inside this box. And so Sean Collyns in his book is talking about this, and then he said something that I was like, blew my mind. The box is the physical. The box is what we are experiencing here. The box is our senses. The box is what we're worried about, the bills that we're going to pay, how we're upsetting someone. All of the things that we're worried about in the physical realm are inside the box. And you know what that means? We put ourselves inside this box. We have to. We're physical, right? We have physical bodies. But there's another picture here that we're missing, that most people miss when they look at the Vitruvian man. And this is what Sean Collyns said that blew my mind. He was like, if the square represents the physical, what does the circle represent? Anybody?
The spirit.
The spiritual. And I was like, wow. It literally blew my mind. And the part that blew my mind the most was, look how close his finger is to that circle. If the spirit realm is on the other side, just beyond that circle, it's not way out there on the other side of the clouds, you guys. It literally is a boop, stretch away. Like, I mean, seriously, what if the spiritual is literally just a stretch away to tap into it? Have we ever thought about it like that before? What if we are thinking about it being so far away and we don't tap into it? We forget that it's there because we think it's so far away. But it literally is a fingertip and a stretch away. I'm one who believes, and I think a lot of you believe this, and Sean Collyns mentioned this as well, that our soul exists in our body. It's a piece of our soul. The biggest part of our soul, our oversoul, our higher self, the divine, whatever you want to call it, is still in the spiritual realm. It still exists in the spiritual realm. It's guiding us, it's leading us, it's calling us, it's teaching us. in the spiritual realm. But look what we do. We are so stuck in this box of physical, we forget that the biggest piece of us exists just beyond the circle. But we don't ever tap into it because we think it's so far away. So what if all we have to do to reach that higher version of ourselves, our oversoul, the biggest part of our soul, is stretch a little bit and reach beyond that circle? And I'm not trying to say jump into the circle, like forget the physical. We don't live in the box anymore. We have to. We have physical bodies. But our oversoul, our higher self, the divine, is there to guide us and to lead us and is waiting for us, literally waiting for us to stretch just a tiny bit to reach into that spirit realm so that it can guide us. And that literally is all it takes. It just blew my mind. I'm just thinking, oh my gosh, now I have words, I can explain this, I can show you how simple it is. And Raj, how's my time? Are you timing me? Okay. So as an educator, I always like to leave you with an action step or something that you can apply to your life. And this is something that Sean Collyns said in his book too. And I was like, what is happening? It's a resource that I created 3 years ago. And I have really not known what to do with it. I do have a course that goes with it that I've gone through and that I've taught. But one of the things he said is the way that we tap into and really are able to get to that spirit realm, it's all a vibration, it's all a frequency. I think most of us know that. We have to be at the vibrational frequency to match the spirit realm, right? The earthly plane, this physical body, our vibrational frequency is not high enough to get to the spirit realm because the spirit realm exists at such a high vibration. So what we have to do here is be aware of how high is our vibration? How are we vibrating here? Are we bogged down by all these earthly things, by all the physical? Or are we thinking about how we can tap into that spiritual realm? And one of the things he said that I have said for a long time, and this is how I created this resource, is that it's all based on your emotions. Have you heard that before? That our emotions determine our frequency. That because most of us, we were taught our emotions are bad. We don't feel them. No, we suppress them. We push them down. They're bad. We don't do that. But that's not what they're meant for. Our emotions are part of our communication system. They bring in a message. Our emotions have messages for us. They bring in a message, and we either try to push it away, or we grab onto it, and it becomes a hurdle for us to overcome. Research shows us, are you ready for this? Buckle in. Research shows us that when an emotion comes in, it literally takes it only 90 seconds to serve its purpose, and it will automatically dissipate, but we hold on to it. We fight against it, and then it becomes this hurdle that we're still dealing with. So if we allowed our emotions to be what they are, serve their purpose, then they just go on. It was like, oh wow, that was cool, That's how it's meant to be. So he's saying that it's the emotions that determine where we are, whether we're staying in the box or reaching beyond the circle. So Remy, if you'll switch the slide. This is a resource that I created, like I said, 3 years ago. It can be found at the end here. There will be a QR code on the table out there with my books. There are bookmarks you can have. It has a QR code that you can get this for free if you want to refer to it. I keep it on my phone. This is an emotion frequency chart. It's 100 emotions categorized into 10 different stages based on their vibrational frequency. So stage 1 is really low. And side note, notice the colors that I have done it according to the rainbow, because when the rainbow appears, it shows up in the order of the frequency. The colors show up in the order of the vibrational frequency, which is really cool to me. So stage 1 is really low vibrational frequencies. Panic, envy, guilt, shock. Stage 10 is the highest. Those are the highest ones. Amazement, appreciation, euphoria up there. We want to get to stage 10, but there's so much to this, I can't explain it all right now. What I want you to understand is this is a resource that you can use, and you can identify where you are. I'm at stage 6 right now, just say, as an example. I'm at stage 6 right now. I'm feeling a little bit of, what am I feeling? Overwhelmed. That's pretty appropriate. I'm feeling overwhelmed right now, but I don't want to be overwhelmed. I want to move up to stage 7, and our bodies only allow us to move one stage at a time. You can't jump. It's not gonna, your nervous system's not gonna allow that. So I want to move up to stage 7. So what I have to do is I have to find an emotion in stage 7. I have to recall when I felt that emotion, and I have to bring that feeling back in. I have to ask myself questions. What does being brave feel like? What does being courageous feel like? And I have to feel that in my body. I have to own it. I have to embody it. And it lets me slide right into stage 7, because then I'm feeling that. And then I go up to stage 8 and 9 and 10. That's how we move up the scale. So again, this is very brief, but I wanted you to understand the way, because I didn't want to get up here and just say, hey, we can tap into, we can boop on the other side of the circle. Okay, but how do we do that? Give me some action here. This is how we do it, by our emotions. Which emotion are you experiencing? Which one are you wanting to experience, and how do you get there? So again, you can find this. If you want to just talk to me, I can give it to you as well. I want to do the meditation. If you'll go ahead and show the next slide. This is my QR code if you want to know more, if you want to talk about this, if you want to dive deeper, any of that. It's all at that QR code, and again, it's on the table, my bookmark on the table there as well. So, as an educator, our meditation is going to be, I want you to feel this and experience this for yourself. If your oversoul, if the rest of your soul, if their higher self, if the divine is on the other side of the circle, it's just beyond the circle, then why don't we tap into that? Why don't we see what that message is for us today? So we're going to do that in our meditation. So I'm going to go ahead and, thank you, Remy. So we're going to go ahead and move into the meditation part today. Oh, I'm good. Oh, wow, I hurried through that for nothing. I have to say that I practice, like when I speak, I practice down to the minute, and I was guided to give you so much information today. I was like, there's no way I can fit that in. So I did it so fast, and Roger's like, you got 15 minutes, girl, you're good. So I apologize. I am one who sits there and tells the speaker, you have 5 minutes. So for me to get up here and be like, no, I'm going to go over, I don't think that's that's not honoring what I do here. So, okay, so let's practice this then. Remy, if you will put the Vitruvian man with his little diaper back up on the screen, please. Thank you. You can refer to this, or you can think through it. So we're going to take 3 deep breaths. Deep breath in, and then exhale out, push it out. I want you to focus on moving your energy and your focus from your head, because we live in our heads. That's part of our physical body. We live in our heads, but we want to push it down, the energy, we want to push it down to our hearts. We want to live from our hearts. We are love. Everything is love. We are to be an example of love and to give love in the world, and we can't do that from our heads. We must drop down into our hearts to do that, and that's the space I want us to go to right now. Picture your energy, your focus moving from your head down to your heart. And this is what I do it physically with my hand. I move it down, I push it down over and over until I can feel it living into my heart down there, my heart space. It's emotional. You will feel it hit your heart. You will feel it sitting there. You will feel it living there, because that's where it's meant to live. And we're moving our energy and our focus down to our heart. And put your hand on your heart to recognize and to show love to yourself. Before we can show love to others, we have to love ourselves. It begins with us. And we're embracing the love that's within ourselves. But again, that's not the fullness of who we are. That's part of who we are. That's part of our soul. That's part of who we are. We have a much bigger part of us living just beyond the circle. So while we're in our hearts right now, I want you to think about I want you to visualize or look at the screen to see that circle. Look how close his finger is to the edge of that circle. Look at that simple, skinny line that separates the physical from the divine, the physical from the spiritual. And we're going to tap into that. We're going to say hello to the rest of our higher self, to our oversoul, to the divine, to the spirit, whatever you want to refer to it. And if you need to do this physically, do it physically. Just don't punch your neighbor. If you need to reach your hand up and feel yourself moving beyond that circle and stretching just a tad, do that. Or do it in your mind. See yourself doing that. See yourself stretching just beyond the circle, where you just have part of your finger in the other side, where you're connecting. And on the other side, the rest of you, the biggest part of you, reaches out and touches you back. It's a light being. You feel the light. When the biggest part of you touches your finger, you feel the light, and it comes down into your physical body, down into your heart. You feel it. And you're connecting with that version of yourself, the version that was you before you came here, the version that is still a light being, the version that embodies love, that knows nothing except love, that loves you deeply, that wants what's best for you, that's guiding you and leading you and trying to connect with you. And you're touching it right now. And you're feeling it down into your heart. And I want you to ask that version of yourself that's just beyond the circle, what message do you have for me? What do I need to know? Ask it that question. What message do you have for me? What do I need to know? And allow it to shift down into your heart. It will be an inner knowing. I want you to allow that to come down and into your heart and become a piece of you, become a part of your being. My oversoul, my higher self just told me that I'm hiding my potential. When I asked just now, what do I need to know? What message do you have for me? That's what I was given. I'm hiding part of my potential. So I'm bringing that into my heart and I'm letting it sit. And that's scary. It feels scary. But I know that it's truth because it came from the biggest part of me. Let that sit in your heart. Own it. It's a piece of you. And now you get to decide what you do with that. I get to decide what I do with that information. Because now it's come into the physical and I can access it. And I can choose whether it sits there in my heart and I do nothing, or whether I take action and I take that wisdom from my higher self and I do something with it. So my question to you today is, what are you going to do with that message that you were just given? What's the first step you need to take to make that change or to implement that into your life? Or you may need to just sit with it to understand it better. But I want you to decide right now what you're going to do with that information you were just given. It's time for us to come back out, to pull our hand away from back into the circle. And to breathe our way back to where we are now. Some more deep breaths. still living in your heart, still focused on your heart, still being guided by your heart. And I want you to understand that that circle is always there. You can always reach beyond the circle. This isn't just a special time that you access it right now. It's there every moment. At any point, you can reach through there and ask your higher self what message it has for you. I would love for you to share that with me afterwards, if you don't mind, to share more about the message that you were given or the step that you're going to take from your higher self and how you're going to live it out in your life. I would love to support you in that. And I'm just so grateful that you're here today. And again, that I have been able to share a piece of my heart and my journey with you. I love you all so, so much. And I'm just so grateful to call you my family. Thank you.